From Bethel Park at Bethel High School, WHES Cable Channel 5 presents Peninsula District Softball. The Bethel Bruins hosting the Phoebus Phantoms. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. We welcome you to a sunny, cool afternoon at Bethel Park for this battle between the Phoebus Phantoms at 4-7 and the Bethel Bruins at 10-1, and would appear to be somewhat of a mismatch here. Bob, tell us a little bit about both of these teams.
Well, first of all, you look at the Phoebus team. Wade Tranum starts 5 or 6 freshmen, so he is really rebuilding this year. He's got his battery mates, as you can see the starters there. His battery mates, the pitcher and the catcher, are identical twins, and they're both freshmen, and he's very high on them. But you look at Larry Eastep. Larry told me last year, he says, we're going to the state. He said, we've got a good team. He's got a good mixture of upperclassmen and younger people. Joanne Andrews, the pitcher, has pitched every inning this year. She's just a sophomore. She's getting strong and getting better. It's on paper looks to be lopsided, but you can never take that for granted.
We're set to go as the Phantoms will be first up, and the pitch from Joanne Andrews is a ball. The plate umpire this afternoon is Bill Petridge, a young man who umpired the game we did last week with with Kickintan and Hampton, and the base umpire will be Bill Branham. The batter is Penny King to lead off, and she is looking at a 1-1 count.
She's batting .311, Tim. And does something a little different than a lot of players. She is a switch hitter, and you don't find many switch hitters in softball, and especially in girls softball.
1 ball, 2 strikes, and she will literally switch back and forth across the plate. So she's going to go back to hitting right-handed now. Behind on the count, 1-2.
Well, I'll tell you why. What she was trying to do, Wade had told me at the beginning. He says, I'm going to have my leadoff batter try. She's a switch hitter and going to try to drag bunt to first base. They feel that one of the weak points of fielding is the pitcher for the Bruins. And so he was going to make her field the ball and hopefully try to get a runner on. But as you see, that didn't work.
Fouled back on the, again, attempted bunt. Of course, Penny King, a strikeout victim. Karen Novak, the pitcher for the Phantoms, is our batter.
Now she's going to switch back from left to right. She's batting .258, one of the identical twins on this team.
Swing and a miss as Joanne Andrews, showing her midseason form, looking real strong right now. She's probably the class of the peninsula as far as the pitchers are concerned. Just off the plate.
There's some good pitching in the peninsula this year. And she is one of the top pitchers, there's no doubt about that.
She has great velocity and good location on her pitches.
And I think I've got her ERA somewhere, Tim. It's just unbelievable, .053.
And she has struck out the first 2 batters for the Phantoms. That'll bring up the other half of the pitching-catching tandem and the second identical twin, Katie Novak, number 2. She will also bat from the left side of the plate. And she will take a strike. I was going to say it looked like a strike, but I thought he said ball. I got to get used to Bill again.
Yeah, and he's not real quick after he calls it. You got to wait a second, and you got used to that in the other game we did with him.
Fouled back out of play. Almost got a unsuspecting spectator. So Andrews again quickly out in front of the batter. 2 away here in the top half of the first inning. Bethel and Phoebus. This one a little high and outside. That's that pitch that the pitcher, when she's got 2 strikes on the batter, likes to throw that.
That's right.
Way up high, and you can see it real well, but you just can't hit it.
And I don't know if you heard, but Larry Eastep, the coach, said that was a good pitch.
Strike 3. So Andrews with a perfect inning. 3 batters, 3 strikeouts. And we move to the bottom half of the first inning with no score. I want to remind everybody that we will be at Darling Stadium a week from Wednesday. I believe that's the 11th of May. We're going to go over to Darling, and we're going to have a soccer doubleheader. And we'll have that for you here on Channel 5. That game will be played on May the 5th. Not sure. I know all 4 teams
May
are Hampton
11th.
teams. Excuse me, May 11th. Which teams are playing each other?
I'm trying to remember where. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's Bethel, Hampton, Kickingham, Phoebus, but I'm not sure. I'd have to look at the schedule again.
In any event, you'll get the opportunity to come on out and support the Peninsula District Soccer. They'll have both games at Darling Stadium, and it'll feature all 4 of the Hampton City schools. So your opportunity to see those schools in action. And boy, that soccer tournament district this year is really wide open.
It really
Kickingham,
is.
who had dominated for a number of years, has fallen by the wayside a couple of games.
Well, and you see the big write-ups in the paper. First time ever. I think it was Minchville beat them and Lafayette or something. So you see that a lot. We talked about the coaches. We got over there with the with Larry Eastep. He's got some helpers on his team. Wanted to go ahead and mention them.
Sure, Frank Boland and Rhonda Smith are the assistant coaches, and managers are Heather Baker, Teresa Dowling, and Amy Powers.
And of course, with Wade Trenum, we have Jim Sherrard, who also helps him. Jim is a teacher over at Phoebus. I've known Jim for a long, long time, and he helps Wade over at Phoebus. So, and it is very important. You know, it's hard to coach different positions when you got your pitchers and then your infielder, outfielder. It's always nice to have somebody to volunteer and comes out and helps you.
As we mentioned, the battery mates for the Phantoms, identical twins. Karen Novak is the pitcher and Katie Novak is the catcher. And the leadoff batter for the Bruins is Melissa Bates, the center fielder.
Karen's got a 4-6 win-loss record, and that's pretty good as a freshman. She comes in. She's not a real. You notice they're not real big, but she's got pretty good velocity on that ball.
Ball 2, a little high. The wind certainly favoring the pitcher this afternoon. The wind is blowing straight in from center field, and it's pretty substantial. Call strike.
Well, Melissa just is one of the sophomores on this team, and I was talking to Larry. I said, Larry, you got a team that's a little different than Wade's. Wade's got a lot of freshmen. He says, I haven't got but 3 seniors on my team. And I said, well, that's true. He doesn't.
Batting 336 is Melissa. Hits this one to the second baseman. One hop over to first, and in time for the out. So second to first for the initial out of the bottom of the first inning. And that'll bring up number 17, Chris Boland, the shortstop for Larry Eastep's Lady Bruins. Chris hitting .268. She's a junior. First pitch is high. As we look around here at the Bethel Sports Complex, you see the baseball team across the way. Boy, was there an upset last Saturday in the Peninsula District ranks, or
what? Wasn't that?
Bouchard's Bruins, as you mentioned in our coverage of that game with Hampton the other day, they were going to need a little help, but who would have thought the help would come from Ferguson?
Yeah, you got that for sure.
Team that only won 1 game all year long jumped up and beat Kickingham last week, and now a dead heat for first place in the Peninsula District baseball. Strike called to the batter. This one a little bit high for ball 4. So we have our first base runner of the afternoon.
I was looking at Katie Novak, Tim. She's the catcher here, and just a little thing that Wade told me about her. She's a converted baseball player. She played baseball until she got over in the high school, and she's got a real strong arm.
The batter is Melina Edwards, the second baseman. First pitch to Melina is low for a ball. Runner on first, nobody out, one out here in the bottom of the first. Strike called. Evens the count at 1-1. Beautiful afternoon, temperature in the upper 60s, low humidity. Definite contrast to our coverage last week of the baseball.
That's the truth.
And the softball. Ball is bunted foul down the first baseline. Last Monday out at Fox Hill, you could have roasted your marshmallows right on the roof of the place we were in. It was rather uncomfortably warm, but this one thing about the peninsula, if it's cold today, it'll be hot tomorrow and probably cold the next day.
And if you don't like the weather, hang around because it'll change.
Runner on first, one out. Swing and a miss at a low pitch, and she will occupied. First base was occupied, so even though the ball got away from the catcher, the runner, or the batter at least, could not take first base. Had there not been a runner on first base, she could have run and tried to be safe, but automatically out in this case. The runner does advance to second. The runner advances at their own risk.
Yeah, very good point.
So Chris Boland moves to second. Now there are two out, and the batter is the third baseman, Katie Minnick. Katie, a junior, batting .346.
Let me give you a little statistic on her, Tim. Now, she plays the third base. And
the hot box.
Her fielding average is .952. That's not bad.
No, that's excellent. Just caught the inside corner for a strike. One and one the count. She swings at a ball that was low inside, but looked pretty good, so she swung at it. 1 ball and 2 strikes, 2 away. Runner on second, no score here in the bottom of the first. You're watching girls softball, Bethel and Phoebus. Hit sharply to center field. The center fielder comes in on the ball and makes the catch for the third out.
Well, I tell you, the Phantoms got to feel pretty good. They allowed only 1 base runner, and Bruins hit the ball real good. As a team, they've been hitting the ball real well, so that's makes them feel right good that they can only allow 1 base runner, no runs, and you got help from your defense, and that's what you want.
So we've played 1 inning, and there's no score between Phoebus and Bethel. As the season is winding down, I mentioned that she was in mid-season form. Actually, we're a little past mid-season form. We're about 3 games into the second half of the season, so approximately 5 or maybe 6 games remaining on the schedule for these teams. And of course, postseason play on the peninsula will be beginning in the latter parts of May. And of course, as Hampton City Schools advance to postseason, we will hopefully have additional coverage for you as we look around and see some of the concession stands here. And I saw the grill was cranked up a little while ago.
Oh yeah, that's smell started drifting over this way.
You're liable to lose your break. You're liable to lose your play-by-play man. I had a light lunch here, so I might have to go over there and partake of one of the culinary delights that are here.
Now, in baseball, Tim, there is a tournament, but in softball there isn't. The first and second place teams, they are the ones that advance on to postseason play. So it's real important in softball to end up in the first 2 positions, where in baseball you have a chance of going because of the tournament.
In the baseball tournament, of course, the top 8 teams play each other: 1 and 8, 2 and 7, 3 and 6, and 4 and 5, and then I believe that's a single elimination. Or
that's correct. It's a single elimination. But what a lot of people are upset about that is with the first place team playing in there, the first place team is not going to pitch their best pitcher in different positions because they're going to save them for the regional play. So there's some controversy about whether to allow the first place team to take a bye and not even be in the tournament.
Foul ball headed right for the concession stand. Almost ended up on the grill. Anna Chapman, the shortstop, is the leadoff batter. She is behind on the count, 0-1. Got to keep heads up out here this afternoon. Liable to have a softball sandwich. Ended up in the concession stand truck. High and outside, 1-1. First batter in the second inning. We play 7 innings. held back on the high outside pitch, went down for the appeal, and first base umpire said no, she did not go around. Bill Branham.
Wade is real tickled with Anna's improvement. She went to CNU's softball camp, and he said that really has helped her, given her a lot of confidence, and helped her with some of the small details that she wasn't aware of in her hitting. So he's real tickled about that. It's, you know, these camps really will help. They'll specialize for some of the players, whether they're pitchers or infielders or whatever.
Base hit. And I say that perhaps almost prematurely. It was hit to short right field and almost had a close play at first base.
I have seen Tamara Poole, the right fielder, throw out a runner, and which normally, if we're talking, you hit that in the outfield, that's going to be, no way you're going to get them at first, but it's a short field.
And they aren't playing in. They're almost a deep first base was the right fielder. So, but nonetheless, Anna Chapman does beat it out, and she is on first. Swing and a miss by Amy Irvin. She is the second batter in the inning.
Third baseman batting .236. One of the sophomore, one of the upperclassmen on this team, you might say.
Pops it up, and it's caught for the out. Anna Chapman gets back safely to first. The ball was popped up and taken by the third baseman. That was Katie Minnick who made the grab.
You notice when the Phantoms are known for their bunting prowess anyway, they do a lot of bunting. You'll see both the first and the third baseman, I mean, they are right in on top of the play.
Center fielder Sarah Gaborik is the batter. First pitch to Sarah is a call strike.
Batting .285.
A little bit low, 1-1 the count. Umpire getting a little grief from some of the fans here.
He got a little from the coach, says, was it inside? And he said yes.
Jammed her with that one, foul down the first base line. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the batter, Sarah Gaborik, center fielder. Runner on first with 1 out.
This young lady, Tim, is number 20 in her class, junior, so that says a lot for her academic prowess.
Takes the pitch high for a ball. 2-2. Phoebus with the first hit of the ball game. Swinging late again, almost took off the on-deck hitter's head on that one, Lindsey Stevens.
That's not the first time a ball's been flying over there. You're on deck, you better be paying attention to what's going on.
That's for sure. Joanna Andrews has such good speed, it's hard for some of these girls to get around on her. Decides to bunt with 2 strikes, and she is an automatic out as the ball was fielded in foul territory. Of course, just like baseball, if you're bunt on 2 strikes and you foul it, you are an automatic out. Scoring-wise, I never have known for sure how that's scored. I guess that's scored a strikeout.
I guess, yeah, it would have to be.
That brings up the designated hitter, Lindsey Stevens. 1 on, 2 away here in the top of the second rather. First pitch is a little bit high. Anna Chapman reached on a single, and she's still on first. Swing and a miss. Good outside corner pitch by Andrews.
She pitches with a lot of confidence, Tim. I've watched her a couple times this year already, and just...
Stevens shows bunt. She went around, and a strike is called.
She went down to a camp, I think, in North Carolina, a pitcher's camp. And Larry Eastep told me when she come back, he says she was throwing it about 10, 15 miles an hour faster than she was when she went down. He said it was a real good camp for her.
Just a sophomore. Remember seeing her pitch last year. She was impressive as a freshman. Fouled back. And that's the third out of the inning, as again with 2 strikes on the batter. Lindsey Stevens decided to try and attempt the bunt.
Well, and that's not a bad philosophy that Wade has. It's not. I'm not too sure about the bunting on the after you've got 2 strikes, but these girls are having a hard time getting around on Andrews, that they're so fast that they're hitting late. So he's hoping maybe they'll get some runners on by that. So I can see his thinking on it anyway.
You're just as out if you swing and miss at it as you are if you foul it back. So if you're a good bunting team and you're having difficulty, then there is certainly some credence to that.
Well, he practices bunting a lot.
Due up for the Bruins in the bottom half of the second inning, Lessa Bradford, the first baseman, the designated hitter, Michelle Suits, and April Mayhew, the left fielder, are the due-up batters for Larry Eastep's Lady Bruins. They'll be facing Karen Novak.
Well, one thing you know about twins or sisters, Tim, if one's a pitcher, one's a catcher, you always got somebody to play catch with. You can always work on your pitching.
Does help. A lot of activity at the Bethel Sports Complex. You got the tennis courts over there. You got the soccer team taking some laps around here. The baseball team working out. You got beautiful spring afternoon.
I saw some track people down there working.
Yep. Saw Coach Kozlowski, AD and Coach Kozlowski out here a little earlier.
Well, they're up there lifting weights. They got the weight program going after school for their for the athletes that are out of season.
There's our center field vantage point. Center field camera. I can't make out who that is exactly. I think that's Jerome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. That's Jerome out there.
And Ron Baton.
Baton's on top of the truck.
Yep. Yeah, he gets hazardous duty pay for that, doesn't he?
Well, I told him to put on his parachute.
First pitch to the batter, Lessa Bradford, is a strike.
I believe Earl Davenport is down here. Our other camera's down where the scoreboard is, Tim. We can't see it from where we are. That'll make up for everybody with the
pitch is just a little high.
The microphone and everything. She hits my microphone.
1-1 the count to Bradford. Swing and a miss way out in front of that one. Lessa batting .281.
She's the team captain, Tim. She's one of the 3 seniors on this team.
Low for a ball. Full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom half of the second, no score. Pops it up on the right side. First baseman caught for it. Catcher, or rather the pitcher.
How about that? That's concentration, wasn't it?
Bobbled it a bit, but made the catch on the second grab. So Lessa Bradford pops out to the pitcher, and that brings up the designated hitter, Michelle Suits. Michelle batting .285. She is also a sophomore. She also, besides
nice
hitting,
shot.
as she gets the base hit, she's also a pitcher / outfielder. So the DH gets the base hit.
Well, she's a backup pitcher, Tim, but she's not had to come in any games this year. She's young Miss Andrews has just done a super job and has had to have nobody worry about going in for her.
April Mayhew, the left fielder, steps in. First pitch is low inside, attempting to steal his Suits, and they say they got her. Out at second, attempting to steal.
I couldn't see from my vantage point. Did she slide? Or
No, she did not
slide. Oh.
Of course, and I think Larry Eastep mentioned that to her as she walked by, or at least I won't try to guess what he said, but it likely was, hey, slide, you might have been safe. So 2 away now, and April Mayhew looks at a ball, 2 balls, and no strikes. Karen Novak delivers, and this one is a strike.
Yeah, nice inside corner. Good shot of that time. You can see a good shot of Miss Novak pitching.
Change up, hit to the third baseman, over to first, in time. Had to wait for a second, but Amy Irvin got that ball across the diamond in time for the third out. So the Bruins get a base hit, but Michelle Suits is out attempting to steal, so they, in essence, turn out to be 3 up and 3 down. And now we've played 2 full innings, and we still have no score. Each team with 1 base hit. For the Phantoms, due up in the top half of the 3rd inning. They'll have Jennifer Walker, the first baseman, Yvette Gant, the right fielder, and then the top of the order, Penny King, Sky King's daughter. That was his niece that was called Penny.
Is that Sky King overhead?
Sky King. We have planes going overhead. That was the niece of Sky King. Well, that you talk about dating yourself, Sky King.
There's a lot of people listening to this who don't know what we're talking about.
90% of the people, certainly none of the young ladies that played this game today said, who in the world was that old man talking about? Sky King.
Let's talk a little bit about Joanna Andrews, Tim. I was telling you her ERA is .035. She's got a 10-1 record. Her innings pitched coming in today have been 68 innings, and she's only walked 3 batters and has struck out 78.
That's an incredible.
Isn't that something?
3 walks in that many innings. That's incredible.
It is. And that shows you a lot of control and getting the ball close and around the plate, so you have a lot of people that will be hitting and swinging at balls that look close enough that you better be swinging at them. That says a lot for that young lady.
Good velocity on the pitch, good location. And you and I know, as most of our viewers will also, I'm sure, pitching is so important in fast pitch softball. I mean, we were talking last week about the old Fox Hillian days, and that's what their bread and butter was.
That's right.
You didn't have the pitching, you didn't play. You know, the fielding was always superb for Fox Hill too, and you need the good fielding. But if you haven't got the right pitching power, you're in deep trouble. So the leadoff batter, Jennifer Walker, the first baseman, takes the first pitch for a ball.
He's batting .238, another 9th grader for this Phoebus team.
Bounce to the second baseman, and she has a problem with the high hop, and reaching on the air will be Jennifer Walker. Tough chance for Melina Edwards. So that'll bring up the number 9 batter, Yvette Gant.
The only senior on this team, Tim, batting .247, and I love her nickname, Proper.
Proper?
Proper.
Well, that's it. I'm sure there's a story to that one.
I'm sure there is. I'm not privy to it.
Fouls back the first pitch. Out of play. So the Phantoms again get the leadoff batter on, as they did in the second inning. But after getting that leadoff batter on there, the Phantoms went down in order. An error has allowed this base runner. Batter goes around on it and gets called for strike 2. Batter has to remember, you can show the bunt. If you pull it back, they don't count it.
Well, that's what Wade is telling her. That was outside pitch. It shouldn't have been pull up that bat back.
Fouls this one. It's caught by the catcher for the out. It would have been an out if she had let it drop nonetheless, because it would have been a foul ball on her 3rd strike. But nonetheless, the pop up to the catcher for the first out.
Well, that way she gets to put out, right?
Exactly. That's exactly right. And it brings up the leadoff batter, Penny King, who was a strikeout victim in the first inning.
Second-year player, played summer ball this year. This young lady's got a lot of talents. JV cheerleader.
And she wisely holds up the ball just outside.
She's the historian of the sophomore class, treasurer of the Spanish class. I don't know where she has time for all this stuff. Takes tap, jazz, and ballet dancing, and is an honor student.
She went around that time. Strike called. 1-1 the count. She acts so confident up there. You know, it's so important is to feel confident. And whether she is or not, I don't know. But she acts like she is. That's good. She got that bat. She's ready to go. She switched across this other side. Now she shows bunt again. And she actually hit the ball twice.
Twice off the bat. When hit the bat again, then she caught it. It's dead as soon as it hit the bat the second time.
So an interesting phenomenon here. The ball was fouled. It was hit by the bat a second time on the same pitch. I don't think I've ever seen that happen.
Now, what he's saying that it hit the ground and bounced up, hit it again, so it's a dead ball. Is what?
No, it never hit the ground. She hit it twice in the air. That was what's so phenomenal.
She did hit it twice. Oh, I thought it hit the ground. Oh,
no,
sorry.
ball never hit the ground. I don't know if we can see it on the replay or not. See? And she actually hit it twice.
I didn't get out of me.
Good camera. Yeah, she actually hit it twice.
Well,
while
it's like in
suspended.
tennis. You can't do that in tennis either, right? But that says a lot with her reflexes.
So it's 1-2. She squares around again, showing bunt. And fouls this one back, and she is automatically out once again. So that's your second out of the inning. And it brings up the number 2 batter, Karen Novak, the pitcher.
This young lady is also on the swim team. She has 2 doubles in the home run this year.
Joanne Andrews delivers just outside for a ball. 2 away now. Runner is still at first base. Jennifer Walker reached on an error. 2 base runners so far for the Phantoms. 1 from a base hit and 1 on an error. And as you've already mentioned, Joanne Andrews does not give up very many walks.
That's amazing to me when I read that stat.
But you know, so many times you and I have talked about the fact that walks, and anytime you watch a Major League Baseball game, walks invariably come back to haunt you every time. And if you can keep your pitcher from allowing those people to get on base freely, you've got half the battle won.
You got that right.
Delivers a strike, 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 away here in the top of the 3rd. Pops it out of play. Evens the count at 2-2. Reminder of the rule as far as the base runner is concerned. The base runner can leave on a steal, but not until the ball has left the pitcher's hand and is on the way past the circle that is around the pitcher's mound. Hit sharply to the second baseman. Over to shortstop covering for the 3rd out.
That's the easy play to take, and that's exactly what they did.
So Karen Novak grounds out to end the inning, and the Phantoms again leave 1 base runner. And after 2.5 innings, we still have no score. Pretty much a pitcher's duel here. Due up for the Bruins in the bottom half of the 3rd inning, Tamara Poole, the
Tamara or Tamara?
Is it Tamara?
I think it's Tamara.
I don't know. It could be Tamara.
Well, we've talked about her for it seems like forever, and she's just a junior, but she's on everything.
Well, Miss Poole, how about that?
There you go.
Swimming pool. Miss
We
Poole.
call it Tammy.
Tammy, there you go. Tammy Poole. Kelly Gerald or Jarrell, however you pronounce that.
I think that's Gerald. I believe that
and then
one's
Melissa Bates. That part I think I got right. One hit for each team as we move to the bottom half of the third inning. 7 innings is regulation.
And you mentioned something the other day too, Tim, about hats. That they don't have to wear hats. In fact, if you look out there at the Phoebus Phantoms, nobody's got a hat. I'm looking at, there's no hats.
Well, maybe, you know, on a bad hair day, maybe they do wear hats. Today's a good hair day, so everybody's keeping their hats on. Poole, Gerald, and Bates due up for the Lady Bruins. Bottom half of the third inning, no score. Channel 5 bringing you the best in Peninsula High School sports. If you're new to the area and you're not familiar with our coverage, we start in the fall of the school year. We carry high school football, matching up games that involve Hampton City schools playing each other. And in the basketball season, we do the same. And here in baseball and softball, we do likewise. We're in a rut. Soccer coming up next week. First pitch to the leadoff batter, Poole, is high for a ball. Big strike zone on Miss Poole. She's a tall young lady.
Well, and that's why she plays basketball too. And she's really come around in basketball. We're real pleased to see her. She's got a beautiful technique on her shot, and she started hitting that jump shot towards the end of the season and really increased her confidence.
Batting .326 in softball. That ought to go a long ways for her too. Karen Novak winds and delivers inside for a ball. 3 balls and 1 strike to count. Leadoff batter, Tammy Poole. A little bit high, and if it's a little bit high on her, it's got to be up there.
And we'll see if she goes on the steal. I've tried to pick up the signal from Larry, but I don't catch it.
Kelly Gerald, the catcher, speaking of catch it. First pitch, call strike. I'm catching up with Bill Petridge here. I figured out what he's saying.
Well, you do better than me. Sometimes I think he's called a strike and it's not.
Wind is shifting now. It's starting to blow out instead of directly in. On the sacrifice bunt, the runner advances.
Excellent bunt.
I say sacrifice. You might have been trying to bat to get on, but it'll be ruled, at least by this scorer, as a sacrifice, advancing the runner. Brings up the leadoff batter, Melissa Bates, who grounded out second to first in the top of the first. Runner on second with 1 away. Pitches a little bit low for a ball. Get a chance to see a replay on that excellent bunt to advance the runner.
That was the only play they had.
Call strike. There he stepped.
Oh, you hear Wade over his head. If he calls time, can I go out and talk to my pitcher?
Well, I guess so, right?
Well, he does it before time is called in, I guess.
Runner is going, and she should be out if she held on, and she is. A good throw by the catcher, Katie Novak, down to the third baseman, Amy Irvin, and Amy did a great job of making sure the runner was not going to advance.
Well, she not only did a good job blocking the base him, but just great job hanging on to the ball.
So now 2 outs. Ball hit to the right side for, well, I started to say automatically a base hit, but, you know, you got to be careful. If first baseman had stayed on the bag, they might have had a play there.
Yeah.
Get a chance to watch that attempted steal again. You're going to see the good throw from Katie Novak, easily in time to get the runner trying to steal.
Great camera work. And that steal could have cost them a run. They may have gotten a run off of that hit.
Good dig that time by catcher Katie Novak. Ball was in the dirt and kept the runner from advancing by stopping it.
Melissa on first base, Tim, has 10 stolen bases this year.
2 outs, runner on first. Batter is Chris Boland. She walked in the first inning. Pitches inside for ball 2. 3, check that, ball 3. Call strike. 3-1 the count. Ball hit to left center field and hit well over the head of the center fielder. Melissa Bates will score all the way from first base.
Man, she's quick, Tim.
Yes, she is. And a stand-up double for Chris Boland.
That's a nice hit by Chris Boland. She's got strong techniques, the coach says.
Yeah, she has a strong swing, too. That was a nice-looking shot to deep left center. And now Melina Edwards, who struck out in the first inning, takes the first pitch for a call strike. Here's a chance to watch that hit again. This one was hit pretty well over the head of the center fielder. And there you see
that speed she's got coming around there.
Long legs. She was moving. Shortstop over to first in time for the 3rd out to retire the side. But the Bruins get a run on the double from Chris Boland. Melissa Bates scores, and now the Bruins have taken the lead 1-0. 2 base hits in the inning and a walk. We've played 3 complete now, and it's 3 hits and 1 run for the Bruins. 1 hit and no runs for the Lady Phantoms. Due up for the Phantoms in the bottom half, or check that rather, the top half of the 4th inning will be the catcher, Katie Novak. She'll be followed by the shortstop, Anna Chapman, and the 3rd baseman, Amy Irving. Not to be confused with the actress of a similar name.
Well, I think she spells it different.
Well, she does. Both first and last name, but come to think of it. Get a chance to watch that double again. A good-looking base hit over the head of the center fielder, and then the good speed from Melissa Bates, and she ran the bases well. She cut down, didn't have any wide arcs to her base running, and never looked back. She was going on the get-go.
Well, once she saw the ball fall in, she knew she could beat it because she could watch the ball as she was running to second.
Of course, you know, and I know she's not supposed to do that. She's supposed to keep running and watch the coach on third, but you're right. You look over there. With 2 outs, that was the advantage that she had. She didn't have to hold up and see if it was going to get caught. All right, so we move to the top half of the 4th inning. Novak, Chapman, and Irvin due up for the Phantoms. Game moving right along. Katie Novak, the catcher, a strikeout victim in the first inning. 6 Ks registered so far for Joanne Andrews. I'm assuming that the foul tip on a bunt is considered a strikeout.
Well, I would call it a strikeout.
I don't know how else you'd score it. First pitch hit sharply to the shortstop. Long throw is not in time. And there was nothing wrong with the way it was fielded. That ball just took its time getting to the shortstop.
She hit it on the end of the bat, Tim, which surprised me that she got it over to the left side of the playing field. But it was a slow roller.
So the base hit for Katie Novak, and now the second batter, Anna Chapman. She'll show bunt and lays it down. Good-looking bunt. The only place they can go is first base. They get the runner at first, but Novak advances to second on the sacrifice.
Well, I tell you, I'm real impressed with Anna Chapman. That was a great bunt. Tim, the first 7 games this year, she was batting .565. That was a nice-looking bunt. Advance that runner.
Third baseman, Amy Irvin. She popped out to the third baseman. in the first inning.
This young lady's been playing softball for a long time, 8 years in the Hampton Recreation League.
Another good-looking bunt, and she will be out at first, but the runner does advance to third. So now the Phantoms with a tying run on third base, but they're running out of outs. They can't do any more sacrificing.
Yeah, that's a good point. You can only do that twice, right?
That's right. Now Sarah Gaborik is going to have to find a different way to advance the runner.
Yeah, she's also one of the tennis players. It was the MVP for the girls' tennis in the fall.
Speaking of tennis, a tennis ball has made it onto the playing field. Sarah, a strikeout victim in the second inning. And as I mentioned about the wind, you might be able to hear it in our microphones as she swings on the first pitches and misses. It has shifted around a bit now.
Yeah.
It's kind of gusting, but it's going more from first base out towards left most of the time. It is kind of gusting back and forth, though. Popped up right side. First baseman calls for it and makes the grab for the third out. So Lessa Bradford makes the play at first, and that retires the side. The Phantoms get a base hit, their second of the game, but are unable to bring the run in, so they end up with one base hit. To add to their total, they have 2 hits now, but still no score. Here is the last play of the inning. The pop out to Bradford. You saw the runner coming in, but did not count. We move to the bottom half of the fourth inning. 1-0 in favor of the Lady Bruins. Chris Boland with the RBI. Bruins will have Katie Minnick, Lessa Bradford, and the designated hitter, Michelle Suits, due up in the fourth. They don't have any vendors going around with those good-looking hot dogs.
No, you'll have to take your headset off, Tim, and walk to the back if you want to get one.
All right, we're going to have a stand-in announcer now for. If they aren't
Well,
the
the next time, if Scotty has to do a quick tape change, maybe you can make the move, huh?
No, I'll tell you, I've been so spoiled by the hot sausages in years past over at the Darling Stadium there. Nothing comes close to that anymore. The days when Slow-Mo Joe was in charge of the concessions over there and had those fantastic hot sausages.
He spoiled you, didn't he?
He did spoil me. All right, Katie Minnick steps to the plate. That's right, all you could eat hot sausages. And about one is all you could eat.
I couldn't eat one. I'm going to have to admit something. I get a bite down, and that's about all I could get. Those things.
You got better as time went on.
Well, yeah, but I'm not as good as you.
First pitch was a strike to Minnick. Novak delivers low for a ball, 1-1. Karen Novak, the pitcher. Katie Novak, her sister, and identical twin, the catcher. In the dirt, nice stop by Novak. Bottom half of the fourth inning. Bethel 10-1, leading this game 1-0. Hit sharply to the third baseman, Amy Irvin. Long throw for the out. So good defense being displayed by the third baseman this afternoon. She's had some difficult chances and have handled them very nicely.
She really has, and the first baseman, Jennifer Walker, is another one of these ninth graders that Tim is, Wade is real tickled about. Has a great glove, and she started out in the outfield, and he moved to the first base and says, man, that's where she should have been all along, because she just really blossomed there.
You saw the replay of that ground out. Back to the live action. Lessa Bradford popped out to the pitcher her first time up. Held up 2 balls and 1 strike. 1 away here in the fourth. DH Michelle Suits, and then April Mayhew due up. Hit sharply to the shortstop. Over to first, in time. So Anna Chapman shows the field. I'll tell you something, this is a young Phoebus team, but they're looking real good this afternoon.
Fundamentally, they're doing a great job on those grounders. They stand right in front of the ball, making nice, accurate throws to the first baseman. They don't, the first baseman's not having to dig them out of the ground or anything. That's very impressive.
And now Michelle Suit steps in, and she whacks the ball right to the left fielder, but it goes over her head. She misplayed the ball. And into second with a stand-up double is Michelle Suits.
But you're right, that was just misplayed by the left fielder for the Phantoms, Stephanie.
Good old Stephanie.
she moved in, took a step in, and then by the time she realized she should have taken a step backwards, and it's hard to judge those sometimes.
Well, that's what I was talking about. This wind is really very erratic. When we first set up here, the wind was blowing directly into our faces.
And it's blowing out now towards her, as you had mentioned. Yeah.
Exactly. So the wind a little tricky, and a softball, because it is bigger than a baseball, is more prone to be affected by wind. Call strike. April Mayhew grounded out in the second inning. Into the shortstop, Chapman over to first, in time for the third out. So they got a base runner, but the Bruins unable to do anything with the base runner, as the shortstop to first was 2 of the 3 outs, and the Phantoms, again, looking pretty tough out there.
Tim, you notice there's one little thing a little different than in baseball and softball. The umpire puts 2 balls out there for the pitcher. Lets her take her pick of which one she wants to do. There's a good shot of the huddle of the Bruins.
Our director said something to me, and I'm not sure what he said. That's right. I don't know if I can repeat that.
Well, I don't know whether you be sexist or not, but it's true. Players in softball, especially if it's girls softball, is a lot better looking than the guys.
Depends on your point of view, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
We move now to the top half of the 5th inning, trying to avoid any kind of suits. Still a very close ball game, 1-0 in favor of the heavily favored Bethel Bruins, but Phoebus has come to play this afternoon. They're playing extremely well, very steady. Joanne Andrews will be facing the designated batter, Lindsay Stevens, Jennifer Walker, and Yvette Gant, the bottom half of the order. Andrews has been extremely sharp. She has registered 6 strikeouts, and so far has not allowed a base on balls. And as you said, Bob, she hasn't given up but 3 all year long. How many innings was that coming into the game?
68.
68 innings? That's phenomenal.
It's just amazing to me. But that shows that the consistency, and Larry will be the first one to tell you she got a lot of help from that camp she went to, and I believe he said it was in North Carolina. I may be wrong on that, but I believe that's where she went.
So Lindsay Stevens steps in. Lindsay struck out in the second inning.
She's one of the backup pitchers for this Phantom team. And she can play either infield or outfield, but right now she's just satisfied with being the DH.
She committed on the attempted bunt for a strike. Pops it up, third baseman right there. Couldn't make it any easier than that. Third baseman playing in extremely close. I tell you, it takes a little bit of guts to come in that close, because you just never know. If someone swings away, you've got a softball sandwich.
Yeah, that's right.
Jennifer Walker reached on an error. This time she will reach on a base hit if she hurries. And she does.
Tim, there was a little footnote here that Coach Trainham gave me.
Here you see what I was talking about, that bunt to the third baseman. She wasn't but 10 feet away from the batter when she hit it. I'm sorry, the note was what?
The little gal I was telling you about, she went from the outfield to the infield, and the first game she played and started at first base, she hit a home run the first time at bat. So Wade says that's where she should have been.
Again, the pop-up just out of the reach of the third baseman. The batter, Yvette Gant. She popped out to the catcher her first time up. Almost did it again.
This is the third year for Yvette being on the team. Coach says she's a good bunter.
That's all she's shown. She's not even hiding. She's squared around and said, look, throw your best shot. I'm ready for you. And the first baseman and the third baseman literally on top of the play. No balls and 2 strikes. And this one is an automatic out. So now that's 2 away as Gant fouls back on the bunt attempt. As all of you, I'm sure, know, with 2 strikes, you can't foul back a bunt. You're an automatic out. I always wondered why that rule was the way it is.
I don't either.
No,
well,
sure.
I guess because a lot of people just stand up there and bunt foul. I don't know.
First pitch to the leadoff batter, Penny King, is called a ball. Mary Eastep didn't think so. Fouled back out of play. I've been a little faster.
Heads up.
I could have gotten that and grabbed me a hot dog while I was at it.
Yeah, but you wouldn't have been able to put anything on a hot dog.
That's
you
true.
may be fast, but you're not that quick.
No mustard on the hot dog. Penny King, the batter, struck out her first 2 times up. 1-1 the count.
She bats .311.
Hits this one sharply to the shortstop. Can't handle it, but she throws to first, not in time. So runners are safe all the way around. So we've got runners now at first and second as Walker advances to second. And this will bring up the pitcher, Karen Novak. Struck out and grounded out.
She's also on the swim team, batting .258. 2 doubles and a home run so far this year.
Two on, 2 out here in the 5th. And she swings away, hits it. Center fielder couldn't come up with the ball. And scoring is Jennifer Walker. And now the Phantoms with runners at second and third with 2 out. And the game is tied at 1.
Those balls are just a little short of the catchable.
That was just a kind of a Texas leaguer. That was a heck of a good play on the part of the center fielder to try and get to the ball. Couldn't quite reach it. And now the Phantoms tying the ball game here in the top of the 5th. And still alive as the catcher, Katie Novak, with 2 on, second and third. Chance to take the lead here. Ball is just inside. Swing and a miss. So Joanne Andrews bears down. Runners at second and third. 2 people out. And we're looking at a tie ball game. 1-1. Popped up. Shortstop drifting back. Makes the catch.
Oh, that's a tough call. Tough catch going away like that.
All right, we're going to return to Bethel Park for the bottom half of the 5th inning after this brief timeout and a hot dog run. There you see some of the action from the top of the 5th. The game tied 1-1 as the leadoff batter is Tammy Poole here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. She reached on a base on balls and was out attempting to steal in the 3rd inning. Novak delivers low inside for a ball. 1-1. The Lady Bruins and the Lady Phantoms locked up here in a good ball game. Swing and a miss. Karen Novak has looked extremely sharp.
Well, I'm impressed with her as just a freshman, as I was with Miss Andrews last year. Joanne was a freshman last year that really impressed us.
Just 2 base on balls allowed by Novak, none by Andrews rather. Poole is the leadoff batter. Gerald will be second, and then the top of the order, Melissa Bates. No balls and 2 strikes to the batter. She swings at a low pitch, strike 3.
She's batted herself, Tim. She really knew she swung at a pitch that was out of the strike zone.
Well, you know, that's what happens when the pitcher gets ahead on the count. You have to be thinking, well, I've got to swing if it's close, and then sometimes you swing even if it isn't.
Yep.
This brings up the bottom of the order, Kelly Gerald, batting 9th. First pitch is high. This game videotaped on Monday, the 2nd of May, 1994. Beautiful spring afternoon, temperature in the upper 60s. Nothing but sunshine. Swing and a miss. On deck, Melissa Bates. High for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. 4 hits and 1 run for the Bruins, 4 hits and 1 run for the Phantoms. Foul back out of play. I want to take this opportunity to thank Coach Kozlowski and all of the fine folks here at Bethel High School for their usual total cooperation. We appreciate it.
And I want to echo that. Plus, I want to thank both Coach Larry Eastep and Wade Trainham, both for giving me the statistics and all.
Tough chance, and the shortstop can't come up with the ball. And reaching on the air will be Kelly Gerald. So the Bruins have something going here with 1 out.
Tim, that wind had a little bit to do with that.
Oh, yeah, that was a tough chance. Not an easy play at all. But the Bruins now with a chance to capitalize. They've got 1 out, runner on first. The leadoff batter, Melissa Bates, steps up. Ball gets away from the catcher. It was low in the dirt. And advancing easily is Gerald. So now the Bruins with the lead run at second. Strike called. Good looking pitch.
Oh, that was right down the pipe.
Bates, nice bunt. Pitcher over to first, can't come up with it. Melissa will try to go to second, and a run will score all the way from second base. Bates still on her horse. Ball gets away from the third baseman, and she's liable to score, and she does on
that
the bunt.
Speed that she's got, yes, Tim, is amazing.
Tell you, speed will help you win ball games every time.
Man, she got to first, and she saw that ball had got by the first baseman, and by the time the first baseman got it, she was halfway to third.
So the Phantoms self-destruct a bit on that play as the bunt attempt was thrown wide by the pitcher over to first, and after that it was just one error after another as the Bruins here will get a chance to see it. You're going to see Novak come off the mound. Her throw at first base was a little bit wide. All the time you're seeing that, you're watching Bates as she rounds the bases and scores, and then that was Gerald scoring rather than Bates. Just kept on running herself. So now Chris Boland steps in. And it's a tough break for the Bruins, for the Phantoms. They've really played well all game long.
They really have. And they've played pretty well error-free.
High for a ball. So 2 runs across.
But you're right, that throw to first was wide and pulled the first baseman off the bag. And from then they were just trying to maintain.
Good job by the third baseman, Amy Irvin.
Strong arm.
She's got a strong arm, and to her credit, too, she just didn't give up on the ball. Chris Boland hit it sharply, and Amy Irvin just would not quit on it. You got to have a good third baseman. That's the cornerstone to your team, along with your pitcher.
She's had 7 putouts at third coming in today. Well, she's had a few more than that.
Oh, yeah.
This young lady's got a 3.2 GPA, so she's good all around.
That's her third putout today. Batter now is Melina Edwards with 2 away. To the first baseman for the easy out. Unassisted ground out to the first baseman, but the Bruins come up with 2 runs on 3 errors. And those runs are unearned, but that doesn't matter. You've now taken the lead as a result.
You get them any way you can.
Stirred up a little of the dust here at the Bruin Park, Bethel Park.
Trying to get bribed by the official.
I'll tell you, or were you giving him candy? Or
No, he was going to give me one. I pulled mine out at the same time he was getting his.
So what am I, an orphan? I didn't get offered any candy.
Well, you want one?
Sure.
Oh, well.
Those are those good butterscotch things that you have, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, the Werthers.
They're Werthers. God bless you. All right, so we are going to move to the top of the 6th. The Phantoms trailing now, 3-1. I'm not sure I can eat this while I'm on.
Right, stick it between your cheek and gum.
I didn't get my hot dogs. Scotty gave us some time, but with the tape change there. But I told my wife I'd stay away from those hot dogs.
Oh, aren't you a nice guy? Anna Chapman is up. They call her Anna Boo.
I'll tell you something. Anna has played well at shortstop.
She really has, Tim. She's in the Key Club and the JROTC. Right now is batting .403. Started off the season, first 7 games. I had mentioned earlier she was batting .565 in the first 7 games of this season. So it's fallen off a little bit, but .403 is not bad.
She'll be followed by Amy Irvin and Sarah Gaborik. Anna had a single in the 2nd inning and sacrificed in the 4th. Swings at the first pitch and misses. Pops it foul right side. First baseman Lessa Bradford can't quite get to it as it hits the fence. So quickly, Joanne Andrews ahead of the batter. 0-2. Ball hit sharply to the second baseman for the out. So lining out to the second baseman, Melina Edwards, to start the inning, and that'll bring up Amy Irvin, the third baseman.
Well, that was one of those where you only had to take a couple steps and the ball was right there. Those you like.
Swing and a miss.
Young lady is also in Kietz in the FBLA. Besides all the other things she does with the GPA of 3.2.
High for a ball, 1-1. 1 out here in the top half of the 6th. Bethel leading 3-1. You're watching Bethel and Phoebus Girls Softball Peninsula District. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz and our Channel 5 crew. Swing and a miss. Hope you've enjoyed our spring sports coverage. We've had a couple of really good baseball games, and this has been an excellent softball game on both sides.
Well, Tim, this is something that has not happened for us in many years, and that is no rainouts. We have been able to schedule and do the games without having to worry about the rain forcing us to either not be able to do the game because of their scheduling or in our stuff. So this is unusual for us to be able to get all our games in without worrying about the weather. We got all the rain in April. I guess that's why.
March, actually.
I'm sorry, March. Yeah, and April was a dry month.
Yeah,
so.
Good timing. Sarah Gaborik steps in with 2 out. Fouls it back out of play. Sarah is 0 for 2 this afternoon. Struck out and popped out.
Sarah has had key hits in the last 3 games. As also I mentioned earlier, is a tennis player, but coach is real happy with her hitting. Coach Trainham is.
Uh-oh, that wind just shifted.
Oh, I
aroma.
smelled it at the same time.
Brought that grill aroma over here, my gracious. Vendor. I was afraid of that, Bob. High for a ball. 2 balls and 1 strike to count. 2 away here in the 6th. If Sarah is able to get on, the designated hitter, Lindsay Stevens, is due up next. Outside for ball. So Joanne Andrews in jeopardy of walking a batter for the first time in this game. 3-1 the count. She has not reached a 3-1 count often. Pops it up right side. Second baseman drifting back. Right fielder playing very shallow. Comes in to make the catch for the 3rd out.
Well, that Tammy Poole, Tim, has got pretty good speed, and she plays in close, and she can get back on it, but that normally would have been a second baseman's ball.
She was literally playing on the edge of the infield. So the Phantoms go in order. And we move now to the bottom half of the 6th inning. There you see the play we were referring to. She was just barely on the edge of the infield. Due up for the Bethel Lady Bruins in the 6th inning will be Katie Minnick. She'll be followed by Lessa Bradford and Michelle Suits.
Tim, if Wade Trainham, you got this team out here, and you got as many young underclassmen he's got and is starting as many 9th graders that he does, and you've played as well as you have against a team that is probably the best in the district, you got to feel real good because the 2 runs that they got last inning were unearned, as you said, and prior to that they had played pretty well as far as no mental mistakes. They hadn't hurt themselves any, so that's I know Wade's got to be happy with them. I saw him huddle with them before they came out into the field and give them a little pep talk, let them know, we may be behind by 2, but we're in this game.
Well, and this is an extremely young team. I mean, they are predominantly freshmen on this team. He's got to be real pleased with not only this game, but the prospects for the future. I've seen some very promising play on this side of the field. And when you consider these young ladies are predominantly freshmen and sophomores, the future looks bright for the Phoebus Phantoms. All right, Katie Minnick will step in. She is 0 for 2 on the afternoon, flying out, and she grounded out in the 4th. First pitch from Novak is way outside and high. And again, the wind now has shifted again, and it's blowing out to left. Call strike on the inside corner.
Excellent location on that pitch.
And you mentioned the Novak pitcher. She's just a freshman too?
Yes.
I mean, my gosh, you talk about foreboding future for the Phantoms' opponents. This is
Well, you mentioned that to Wade, and Wade said, "I wish I could fast forward 2 years."
Yeah, because, you know, he's just got to be real pleased when these young ladies reach their juniors and seniors. He's going to have a real powerhouse. Ball is a seeing eye single and stretched into a double. Good move by Katie Minnick to run the bases well. Ball just got by both the third baseman and the shortstop.
Well, that was a high hopper, and the short baseman, not the tallest of young ladies out there, she just couldn't get the ball. You got to call that a hit. There's no way that she could have called an error on that. She couldn't get a glove on it.
So a double for Minnick to lead off the sixth. And now Lessa Bradford steps in. She is 0 for 2. Bruins have a runner in scoring position with nobody out. Inside and low, ball 2.
Lessa also helps as a trainer, as student trainer here at Bethel High School for the other sports.
So Karen Novak falls behind 3-0. Strike called. Runner on second with nobody out. Squares around, bunts the ball back to the pitcher. She'll go to first for the first out of the inning.
I think if she'd have let that go, she'd have been on first base. That looked like it was too low to be a strike.
So one away, and the batter is the designated hitter, Michelle Suits. Michelle, with this wind blowing out to left last time, hit the ball over the left fielder's head. Quick throw back, and they got her. So Katie Minnick took a little too much of a lead off of third base, and Katie Novak said, "You're out of here." She threw that ball down there.
Well,
right
I tell you, but Wade said she's got a strong arm. And one of the things that he told me about her, let me find the information here, is she has either thrown out or picked off 12 base runners this year.
Make that 13. And Suits hits the ball sharply, but the center fielder playing the field perfectly for the third out. And I mean, she was right there. We're watching, so our monitor is so much in the sun now, we can't quite make out what our director was showing you. But in any event, that is the end of the sixth inning. Bruins get a hit, but are unable to score. They now have 5 hits and 3 runs, while the Phantoms have 4 hits and 1 run as we move to the top of the 7th inning. Top of the 7th and final inning of regulation. And the last chances for the Phantoms, they will have the leadoff batter will be the designated hitter, Lindsay Stevens. She'll be followed by Jennifer Walker and Yvette Gant. Due up against Joanne Andrews, who has been really sharp this afternoon. Allowed just 4 hits, 1 run, and has not walked a batter. 8 strikeouts for Joanne. Struck out the side to start the ball game. Struck out 2 of the 3 outs in the second inning. And as you mentioned, the all-important positioning for the first 2 place teams, the first place and the second place team, go to regional action in postseason play.
Well, right now I believe it's Denby's in second, or either that or they're tied with Kickingham, but Kickingham is either third or second, so that's Kickingham is hoping that somebody will give them a little help with the Denby team. Denby is strong. Last year they, in fact, I believe they won the district last year. Had a strong pitcher. I'm trying to remember the girl's name, this little bitty thing, but can really throw the ball.
I think it was Denby that advanced last year, and the other favorite, the first place team, lost in the opening round. Was it Denby or Menchville?
No, Denby got beat in the first round, and Bethel ended up going on into the regionals. In fact, we went up to Verona and did a game up there in that, as you call it, cow pasture.
That was fun. Foul on the bunt attempt. Lindsay Stevens, Jennifer Walker, and Yvette Gant, the batters due up here in the top of the 7th. Phantoms' last chance to tie or go ahead in this game. They trail 3-1. It's been a good, well-played ball game, and from Phoebus's point of view, except for the 2-run inning in the 5th, they've played very well. They had those errors that allowed the 2 runs to score, and other than that, we would be looking at a 1-1 game.
Yeah, we would that.
So Andrews quickly ahead of the batter. Nothing new to her. 0-2 the count. Strike 3. Good looking pitch. I mean, she just froze her with that one. Nine strikeouts for Andrews. Jennifer Walker steps in. She has 1 of the 4 hits against Andrews. She also reached on an error in the 3rd inning. And Walker scored the only run for the Phantoms this afternoon. Hits the ball sharply to right field. It's going to be a close play, but the right fielder can't quite come up with it. So reaching safely with the base hit, her 2nd of the afternoon, Jennifer Walker.
Tim, if Tammy Poole would have come up with that cleanly, she'd have been able to throw her out because she plays shallow, as you had mentioned earlier.
Yvette Gant, 0 for 2, steps in. Phantoms need 2 runs to tie. Anything less, this game will be over. Bunt attempt, and can't hold on to it. Third baseman played it perfectly, but she couldn't quite hold on to the ball. And I say perfectly in the sense that she was right there.
Yeah.
Anticipated the bunt.
Well, you had talked about how close she comes. She plays in and then will come running in on the square round of the bunt. She's only about 10 feet away.
Gant doesn't even disguise it. She just simply is bunting all the way, as you see on your picture there. And she stroked at it that time. That's strike 2. You make that move with the end of the bat, you're going to get called for it.
Yep.
So Andrews now ahead of the batter. 1 out here in the top of the 7th. Gant squares around again, pops it this time, no mistake about it. The third baseman makes the catch.
Well, you're going to do that. I want to miss it one time, but not the next time.
So now the Phantoms down to their last out. Penny King, the leadoff batter, with 2 away in the 7th. This game has moved along a little quicker than the game we did last week.
Well, we had 1 inning that was about a 42-minute inning. That'll make a game go a little longer.
Yeah. All 1 just outside.
Now, this is a gal you want up there. She's batting .311. Makes good contact with the ball.
Pops it up, catcher can't quite make the play. Ran into the fence hard. What a fine effort by the catcher, Kelly Jarrell, or Gerald. I'm going to make her name different each time. Good effort by the catcher. I mean, she just ran right into that fence in her efforts to catch it. Kind of dedication you like to see from your players.
You really do.
1-1 the count. 2 away. Joanne Edwards looking for her 11th win of the season. Fouled away. So now she's ahead on the count. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Joanne, as you mentioned, has pitched every inning this season for the Bruins. Hit back sharply, shortstop rather, over to first, not in time.
Well, the Phantoms are still alive. Tyne runs on first.
And the pitcher, Karen Novak, is the batter.
She's batting .258. It's one of Wade's switch hitters, but she'll be batting from the right side.
Probably want to take advantage of that wind that our audience can probably hear in the
it has really picked up, blowing right out to left.
She got underneath that ball, it could take a trip. Definitely got some help from the wind at this point. And a strike is called. Two away, runners at first and second. Tying run at first. Swing and a miss on a high, hard one. Andrews bearing down and throwing hard. Just outside.
That was a good location, though, Tim. That was one of those pitches when you got 2 strikes on you, it's hard to lay off.
Pop down to right side. No, it's foul ball. Almost caught by the right fielder, Poole. Couldn't quite get to the ball, so Novak stays alive, and with her at the plate, the Phantoms down to their last strike now. 3-1 in favor of Bethel. Runners at first and second, 2 away. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Hope you've enjoyed this ball game. It's been a good one. Edwards a little high with the pitch, just a little high. Joanne smiles at the umpire, but that was a good call.
Yeah.
2-2. Again, wind blowing out. Hit foul on the right side. Count remains 2-2. High for ball 3, so the count is full. 2 outs. The runners will go after the ball is released from the pitcher's hand. But they can be running on anything here, and that's certainly an advantage for the batting team. Full count. Strike 3 called. So Joanne Andrews puts the exclamation point on the game.
You got that. That's exactly right.
Her 10th strikeout of the ball game, and she improves her record, as does Bethel, to 11-1 in a very well played ball game from both teams.
Well, and we sit down here looking at the records, 10-1 and 4-7, and you're thinking, well, it could be very well be a blowout, but you can never tell with these teams. And Wade, you got to be real pleased with Wade's team. I think as young as teams they are, they played real good, but you got such a strong pitcher in Joanne Andrews, Tim, that she has great location. She gets the ball close to the plate, and she doesn't walk anybody, so she doesn't hurt herself that way. And if some some of the fielding was a little cleaner, she would have not had some base runners. But all in all, I thought it was a well-played game on both sides.
Oh, it was, and except for that 5th inning when the Phantoms gave the 2 unearned runs up, this game was anyone's to win. But an excellent effort. Both teams certainly put in a good show. The Phoebus Phantoms, a very young team, as we mentioned several times. So Wade Trainham and his group certainly can hold their heads high. They played, and they were in this game right until the last out.
Where that?
So the final score again, the Bethel Bruins improved their record to 11-1 with a 3-1 victory over the 4-8 Phoebus Phantoms. For Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole. Thanks for watching. Hope you join us next time. Good afternoon, everybody.